Hello, everybody. How's it going? Hank, can we do a little quick mic check? I'm getting feedback that audio is coming through, but maybe you can let me know on Discord regardless, or give me a quick thumbs up. Wonderful. Appreciate it, man. You are now booked for this job. Excellent. All right. Quite the interesting AMA that we have prepared for today, I think. So, yeah, we'll give it a minute and then we are getting started. Still time to grab a drink, turn on your fans, close the blinds, and we are getting started shortly. Yeah, welcome to all of the newcomers as well. Yeah, just want to offer if you guys have any question, still not too late. I'll have a look at the post at the end of the AMA if I don't forget about it. And yeah, if there's anything that you want me to direct here towards WAGMI, it would be my pleasure to do so. So yeah, if any question arises throughout the AMA, just drop it here in the comments and I'll do my best to pick it up. All right, so where to? I've let you on stage. Usually that means we are going to see you drop out of the list and then reappear as a speaker. Wonderful. There we go.
Hey guys.
Hey man, how's it going?
All right, thanks. How you doing?
Yeah, doing great. Where are you calling from? Where to?
I'm actually coming from the airport. My flight got a bit delayed, so I'll have to speak from the car, but that's fine.
Yeah, appreciate that you still make it here, with added difficulties. So yeah, great to have you here tonight. Yeah, let me get right into the introduction. So let me talk a little bit about the format here first, which is, of course, Buildsphere. So the idea here really is that we want to showcase the projects that are populating IOTA and, yeah, make them a little bit more tangible, allow the community to direct questions, learn more about the projects. And that is very much what we are going to do here today. If you guys have any questions, you can drop them in the comments, or of course, you can raise your hand at the end of the AMA and we'll get you on stage and you can throw your question to where to directly. Also, if you have a project that you want to have featured here on Buildsphere, then you should let us know in the comments of the original post. There you will find a Google form. We are always happy to see the number of applicants grow. All right, cool. All of the admin stuff out of the way. I think we can get right into it. So yeah, please start out with an introduction of yourself and the role that you play at WAGMI.
Yeah, sure. So you can call me Vertu. I'm being in crypto, well, I guess from the early 2019, mostly in the DeFi space. Well, I've been working with many liquidity-based protocols as well as build the cross-chain based protocols. I'm one of the team members at WAGMI and mainly contributing from the strategy perspectives and while working closely with Danny and G to make sure that we're all gonna make it.
Sounds good. All right. So we have another OG here on the call. Lovely. That is great because I want to cover some basics about what AMMs, which is short for automated market makers, how they operate, who are they for, all of that good stuff. So let me start out with asking you, what is the difference between an order book exchange, which is what most people are familiar with, and an AMM? Maybe you can point out some differences here for us.
Yeah, sure. So I would say that the core difference probably is the liquidity, because regular order book is the liquidity of the order book is being assessed by buyers and sellers, which is quite volatile. and may differ depending on the time of the day, activity on the market, and other factors, while automated AMM, so automated market makers, the core principle of the DeFi is always there. So you provide your assets as an LP, and this liquidity will be used to serve any trades, any swaps that other people won't do, and you are earning fees from that. Well, basically automated. And there were Uni v1, Uni v2, and Uni v3. Three models completely different. V2 is considered one of the most popular, I would say, back days, due to the fact that all of the liquidity is being used. V3 is more kind of specific liquidity, if you can say that, because when you're providing liquidity in V2, you are providing it basically for a full range of the LP, and your liquidity, you earn the fees from all the swaps which are happening all over the pool. While with the V3, you have to be very accurate managing your position and where you provide liquidity, because if you provide it into the price range which is not being used right now, your liquidity is not working and you're not earning fees. And that's why we basically built WAGMI the way it is, to simplify the process for the users.
Yeah, thanks for that. I think it kind of makes sense for people that want to get into providing liquidity. Probably fair to say that Uniswap V2 models are probably the easiest to wrap one's head around. And then, V3 is a little bit more advanced,
Yeah,
right? Fair to say.
yeah, it's fair to say. However, if you know how to use V3 properly and your liquidity is within the price range that is being traded right now, you would earn way more fees comparing to your V2 position, because as I said, V2 is a global pool where all liquidity is being used basically all the time, and you share the fees among all the other contributors of the liquidity, because there is no specific price range, and it's a directional formula of x multiplied by y equals k. All liquidity becomes basically one pool where everyone shares fees. So in terms of efficiency, V3 would be way more efficient if you want to earn fees from the swaps.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense to my ears. Let's talk a little bit about who is providing liquidity for. I mean, obviously there is a tangible benefit because assets now can be traded, but let's take the retail perspective here. So, there's a person having a bunch of crypto. Let's talk a little bit about the risks and benefits that an average user has from providing liquidity. Maybe you can talk a bit about the risks and benefits and how to come to the decision, should I be a liquidity provider?
Yeah, sure. So the core risk that users have to acknowledge is the impermanent loss. So basically, if you strongly believe that Ethereum, for example, is going to be more or less stable in terms of the price for the next 3-6 months, whatever, and you just want to earn fees from the volatility, you're very welcome to provide the liquidity. However, you have to acknowledge that if you're wrong and ETH moons, for example, you will end up selling all of your ETH towards the second token. It could be USDT, USDC, or whatever you provide against it. And you would just end up basically losing all your Ethereum or BTC or like whatever you provided as a token pair, as a liquid token pair. And the impermanent loss is one of the core problems among the automated market making that, well, many protocols are trying to kind of build something that would solve it. And we were also building strategies to make sure that this impermanent loss would not affect the end user. This is the key thing they have to acknowledge. From the perspective of earning yield on the liquidity, well, let's say Yeah, I mean, definitely. I mean, there is a plenty of the liquidity on all the chains, and this liquidity brings a lot of fees. People make double, sometimes triple digit APRs from their positions. And talking about the WAGMI, like we introduced automated strategies that help to retain that position in the most efficient way and make sure that people earn the fees. And during the volatility, our APRs going over triple digits. So 140, 180% APR on your position. That's something you can definitely see during the volatile market.
Yeah, thanks for that explanation. So I've currently, I'm navigating to the liquidity tab here on wagmi.com. So, yeah, wanting to invite everybody listening in right now. If you want to have a better understanding, it's always great to have the website in front of you. And here at the liquidity tab, I'm seeing an option for free pools and also for strategies. Can you work out for us what the difference here is if I'm providing liquidity to either strategies or the free pools?
Yeah, sure. So WAGMI is an automated strategy management protocol built on top of UniV3. So as a user, we do not limit you to participate in our strategies. And if you believe that you can deploy your own liquidity and manage it more effectively, you're welcome to. So you can just provide the liquidity. If you think that we know what we're doing, and I believe we definitely do, you'd better just join the strategy and don't really care about the rebalances, don't really care about the IL, and simply enjoy the fees that will be printed. The strategy will be printing you. The way the strategy works is that it is being automatically adjusted and concentrates the liquidity among the specific price range, right? So if the ETH, for example, is now at 3,500, right? So the strategy would adjust the position to concentrate the liquidity between 3,300 and 3,600. Therefore, making the liquidity most efficient and make it work and make it earn fees. It would also add extra layers of safety rebalance pools, I would say, that would go below and above the current price, the current price range, and make sure that it automatically rebalances whenever the price exceeds or drops, to make sure that we have liquidity to readjust our position. And this happens dynamically and basically all the time. And by doing so, we're trying to simplify the life for the retail user and make sure that he can just press one button, join the strategy, and enjoy the fees that he will be earning.
I see. Yeah, there is definitely some complexity to providing liquidity. And if I were to eliminate all of that and basically trust WAGMI with, doing reasonable management of my position, then basically the strategy tab is where I should be going. That is basically the gist of it, right?
Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah, back to the liquidity tab here on WAGMI.com. There is also a tab for leverage. Now, can't help myself but to notice the APR is quite substantially higher compared to WeFree and Strategy. So maybe you can talk us through how that is coming to be and what the process is behind leveraged liquidity providing.
Yeah, sure. So the type of the leverage liquidity is the liquidity that you provide within a UniV3 range for somebody who wants to not perform a traditional swap, but to open a long or a short position. This is a unique leveraging model that we developed and recently launched, which allows for people to go long or short without price-based liquidations. So because of the architecture of the UniV3 liquidity, we can borrow the LPers liquidity to the trader at the specific borrow rate that the trader will be paying daily, And depending on the utilization, this rate will be rising. However, the trader himself would not experience a price-based liquidation. So this is like very different from what you see on the centralized exchanges, where you have this 10x leverage, and if the price drops 10%, you're getting liquidated. This is not the case. With WAGMI, you can hold this position for weeks, months, or even years sometimes, if you are paying the borrow rate. So we decided to go from the liquidation perspective towards the yield perspective that will be generated by the traders towards the LPers. And this is how the leveraged liquidity works. Whenever you enter there, you can create a UniV3 position and provide your liquidity for a leveraged pool and start earning that APRs that traders will pay you for using your liquidity to go long or short on specific assets.
All right. Yeah. Novel model here. So, not really taking the price into account for everybody making use of it, but rather the time that the position is open. Yeah. Interesting approach here. Yeah, let's talk a little bit about the plan here that WAGMI is having. We already established that liquidity providers are earning fees whenever there is a trade, and of course, their liquidity is used. Another element of that often is that there are also token rewards on top of that. Can you talk a little bit about whether that is the plan for liquidity providers on IOTA as well?
Yeah, sure. So with WAGMI, we don't want to follow emissions plans because we believe that liquidity should be organic and it should be sticky to the chain. The thing is that you probably saw happen to sushi.com, right? And many other protocols. The problem is that whenever the emissions stop going or the price drops and the APRs are not that juicy, people start to remove liquidity and go to other chains, other protocols where there is still a juicy APR, right? So to avoid that dead loop, I would say, we are not focusing on the emissions based, but rather on the performance based APRs. And from our perspective, it would be way more healthier, way more sustainable in the long term, and for our users to deliver real yield rather printing the emissions APRs that would be gone sometime, initially. And the chains themselves, we believe that will benefit way more from an organic utilization that creates those organic yields rather than just, tokens being emitted to people for farming off them and then dumping on the chain, and then the capital moves from the chain when there is no more juicy APRs. So as I mentioned, we would focus on real yield, organic APRs, and delivering those APRs through our strategies and through our approach. We believe that liquidity can be efficient, and we know how to make it efficient. And this is our plan.
Yeah, I think you're touching up on something here that is plaguing a lot of DeFi projects, and that is, mercenary capital, essentially. You incentivize people to provide liquidity, and at some point, either those incentives diminish or run out. And at that point, well, what are people going to do? They are going to pack up their stuff and go to another platform, chasing that high APR. So yeah, that approach is making
Absolutely.
sense to me. And as you mentioned, I think Sushi was making headlines of, they were incentivizing a lot of pairs, and also to a magnitude where it didn't really make sense. You're incentivizing liquidity that has very little effect on the slippage. And I think it sounds reasonable. Certainly there have been a lot of learnings since the emergence of AMMs. Let's talk a little bit about the WAGMI token. So, just throwing it out there. You probably have some ideas what you want to touch upon. Please give us a walkthrough here.
Sure. So the WAGMI token is basically a governance token that has a staking utility. All the fees that being generated from the strategies and by the protocol are used to buy back the WAGMI and distribute within the WAGMI stakers. So you can stake your WAGMI to SWAGMI and enjoy the fees as well, the fees that the protocol earns, and then distributes them back to the community, basically, and the stakers. As well, you can use your WAGMI to vote for the governmental proposals, post your own proposals, perhaps suggest strategies, suggest new tokens for the strategy pairs, and simply be the part of the community and the part of our growing ecosystem.
Yeah, interesting. You have been talking about the governance decisions that WAGMI holders can partake in. Can you give us an idea like what the usual thing is that people are voting on with WAGMI tokens?
Yeah, sure. I mean, like the most recent votes were about launching on a specific chain, but in general, about the strategies that will be implemented or have to be implemented, about the readjustment of existing strategies, about evolving new markets, about adding new pairs towards our leverage pools, or anything like that. I mean, we as the team are very happy to review any good ideas, and we're welcoming proactive community members that would be taking part in a decision-making processes in our government's proposals.
Yeah, great. Cool. We are almost at the last question here, so I want to throw it out there once again. If you guys have any question that you want to ask here to WAGMI, you're gonna have your chance shortly. But before that, let me take you somewhere else, and that is finding out what are the next steps for WAGMI in general, and then also more specifically for IOTA EVM.
Well, I guess we're waiting for the hands to be raised, right?
Yeah, if there are any, they will show up, but in the meanwhile, yeah, maybe it's a good time to be talking us through the general ideas for where you want to take WAGMI next and also what the specific plans for IOTA EVM are.
Right. So for the specifically for the IOTA EVM, we're planning to collaborate with friendly protocols that will be building strategies on top of WAGMI, such as leverage farming and other utility of our strategies. We believe that um, we can deliver great yields that can be then used to leverage through and attract more capital towards the IOTA EVM. We're very bullish on how the things are evolving. WAGMI itself as a protocol will be evolving to other networks and chains. It will be growing its strategies. It will be growing its liquidity. It will be growing the tech that we have implemented towards the leverage trading approach that I was talking earlier. And well, I mean, we do have quite a long roadmap that you can discover in our Gitbook and our Discord. So, I mean, you guys are welcome to learn through.
Yeah, sounds good. Just checking. I don't think any hands have been going up. It's always a good sign for the guest that we're hosting. It speaks to your concise answers. So, yeah, before we leave off, any closing thoughts and also where is the best place for people to learn more about WAGMI?
Well, we have a very friendly community that is being very responsive. People are helping each other. You are always welcome to DM me, DM any other team members if you have any problem or question. In the meantime, there is plenty of information to explore on the WAGMI website. We have published several papers in our Gitbook and Medium that are a good read and a must read, I would say. There is a plenty of yield opportunities that you can use and become a smart money investor. Well, it just basically up to the people, how deep they want to go.
Yeah, lovely. All right. Yeah, thanks so much, Wetu, for coming by. I'm a little bit smarter, so thanks a lot for that. Also, thank you everybody who has listened in. Oh, I see we have some comments, although let me quickly have a look here. not that we skip over anybody. It's just IOTA Moonshots expressing a lot of support for us here. Yeah, thanks for that, IOTA Moonshots. We are seeing you. Appreciate the great sentiment here. Yeah, I think that is just leaving me off with letting you know that, of course, as always, this episode of Buildsphere has been for informational purposes only. And with that, where to? Thank you so much for coming. It's been a blast.
Appreciate it, sir. Thank you guys for joining and looking forward.
Hey, let's smash it. Thank you again for everybody listening in. And yeah, we have another Buildsphere coming up next week. You are, of course, invited to be our guest once again. And also, I want to bring to everybody's awareness that we are, of course, still taking applications here for the Buildsphere. So if you have any ideas on who you want to have featured, let us know. And with that, wishing everybody a beautiful rest of the day and catch you on Discord.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. See ya.
Bye-bye.